Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about what I learned while watching the two videos that we were assigned, and about my strengths and weaknesses of public speaking. I will also set 3 to 5 goals that I'd like to accomplish before the end of this class. For the first strength, I'd like to highlight that it's the fact that I can connect with what I'm saying and speaking about to other stories in my life, and I can point out a good picture for people to visualize. I haven't always been good at this. However, the first time I really started realizing I was halfway decent at this was when I was in high school. I was in this class, it was Literature of the Holocaust, and we had to write in a journal as if we were someone who was going through this at that current time. It wasn't my favorite project because it was just really eye-opening, and I never realized what those people were actually going through. But it made it easy to connect different points to different stories that I decided to write about. I think there's strengths because if an audience member doesn't quite understand what you're saying, you can just put a story with what you're trying to explain and it'll become more and more clear to someone. My next strength would have to be that I'm an interesting person once I get comfortable. As I'm sure everyone gets comfortable around a certain amount of people in a certain amount of time. I will go out of my way to make sure that I'm not boring someone. And I think that's both a good quality and a bad quality to have, because it's a good quality because you want everyone to be happy. You want to please people. But at the same time, it's not always as easy to please people. I really hate the thought that people think I'm boring. So I always go out of my way to try to make it entertaining. I had an English presentation once. It was actually a 12-page Hamlet paper that I had to write in order to graduate high school. Try reading that to a class of 20 seniors who just want to graduate and get it over with, but have the most difficult English teacher in the entire school, and I was in a CP class as well. However, I read that paper to my class, but at the same time, while I was reading my paper, I kept it interesting by throwing in a few jokes here and there, like how could an idiot stand behind a curtain and kill someone? Or even just cracking jokes about how Shakespeare could write something so good like this, where people nowadays can't even write anything near as interesting as it. It was kind of commentary that kept everyone, and my teacher included, interested in a 12-page Hamlet paper. Everyone has weaknesses. I happen to notice mine quite a bit when I'm speaking publicly, even if no one else does. I think my first weakness is understanding how to keep someone hooked. I've never been good at creating hooks for papers to draw people in, and the same thing happens when I write a speech. I have no problem, though, writing a hook when I'm trying to advertise something. I had a marketing class in high school, and I had to market Vans brand shoes, and I got a really good grade on that at the end because I was able to draw in a lot of people. But when it comes to a paper or a speech, like I said, I'm not good at it. I can't do it. I don't understand how to draw someone in. My second weakness is definitely when I go on stage in front of people. I have a tendency to grip onto something and not let go and read the paper and not look up. Not because I'm necessarily hating the spotlight, but because I'm not entirely confident in what I've written, and I hate awkward eye contact. As you can probably tell, I'm not really looking at the camera. I had to do something like this when I wrote a speech for a project during my freshman year of high school. I think I touched on this in my discussion post. It was bad enough going to a new school in the same district, but add on top of that having to present a speech on a country I knew absolutely nothing about. I mean, after a lot of research, I knew some stuff about it, but I had to present to almost 400 students in my graduating class and multiple judges. I wasn't 100% confident with doing this. But my teacher, of course, assured me that I'd be the best to do it from the class and that I was the only one he thought could get the point across. I remember thinking to myself, why me? I'm one of the people who sit in the back who don't like being called on. Why did you have to pick me? There was another girl in the same class as me who was in theater, wanted to be on Broadway. And here I am, don't know what I want to do with my life, but you pick me to get the point across to 400 plus people. I didn't quite know how to keep my speech interesting to them. Based on everything I've learned this week, though, I have picked out a few goals that I would like to achieve by the end of the class. I've picked 4. First of all, I want to be able to create and be confident in a hook so I can keep my audience's attention. 2, I don't want to have to hold on to something so I get nervous or don't feel or so I feel comforted. I mean, just sitting here, I'm holding onto my legs. I don't want to have to do that. I don't necessarily want to need a piece of something to hold on to. I know a lot of people usually put their hands on a desk or even just put their hands on their hips. I don't want to have to do that. I want to be able to freely talk with my hands. And I'd like to be able to be more confident when I'm presenting and not worry about whether or not my crowd likes what I'm saying. And as you can probably tell, probably half of this video, I have said a lot. Or stuttered. I don't want to be stuttering anymore or turn to when I don't know what to say. So all in all, I look really forward to learning more about strengths and weaknesses in presentation setting. I also look forward to achieving the goals that I had set to myself in regards to public speaking. And I also wish to kick out of my vocabulary.